Today, let's get to listen to stories of triumph amidst failures, courage despite fear, strength through weakness, and even the occasional hopeful cheer from personal punny experiences. I am your host, RKaye, and this is the BetterU Podcast. What is up, fam? Welcome to today's episode of the BetterU Podcast. Coach RKaye here. I would like to thank you guys for joining me for today's episode. Now, we are still in the topic of how do we deal whenever we begin our fitness journey, and it seems like there are certain type of issues that many of us, including myself, whenever we begin that journey or deciding, do I start off training again, or do I even want to train? That is often the question that pops up in one's head when we start off our fitness journey. The reason behind any type of fitness transformation that we want to begin, oftentimes, it may be a health reason or a personal reason, or just to relieve any of our stresses. We always have different reasons behind when we decide to start off a fitness journey or want to change for the better physically. Of course, there are other aspects that also develop through the process, but one of the many issues that come up, even if we have a really big why behind it all, there always seems to be certain other reasons why we just tell ourselves that, you know what, I do want the change, but currently I don't think it is a possibility. And we have mentioned in the past couple of episodes a few of these reasons as well behind why we decide not to start off our fitness journey, or reasons why we tend to see a fitness journey to become somewhat of a failure, quote unquote. And these are technically issues that come up and arise that really make us discouraged. And, from hopeful, we become hopeless. And so today, let me get through one other issue that we often feel fearful about. And I'm talking fearful because a lot of people do tend to shy away from beginning their fitness journey when they hear the word consistency or being consistent. And let me tell you, fam, I do agree with that sentiment. Many of us fitness professionals, or people who have been in the fitness industry for so long, that always seems to be one of the best questions maybe to ask us or to try to figure out. And it seems to be one of those things that, again, makes people very, very much discouraged to start off their fitness journey. And to me, fam, though the word is quite intimidating, it is something that I think is also misunderstood at a certain level. When we say consistency, many people think that, if I pursue a fitness transformation or want to change for the better, I have to be consistent, and consistent means I have to work out every single day. And that that in and of itself is and can be possible. But if it is something that is not feasible in your own lifestyle, to me, consistency, the word consistency, would always have to be something that adjusts to your own lifestyle. And let me go even further as to say that consistency can actually be once a week. If that is something, or that is the only time for you guys to train, again, consistency is something that will adapt to your own lifestyle. And if I were your trainer and you tell me that, oh, I can only come in once a week because I have so many things on my plate, I will accept that. In all honesty, guys, because to me, again, it all boils down to ensuring that you actually do something instead of just throwing in the towel and doing nothing at all. All right. And, before you guys cancel me and tell me, oh, you are not a good trainer for saying your client can just come in once a week, let me just explain that to you guys in a better way, I guess. In the best way I could possibly explain it. You see, guys, consistency is something that is easily supposed to be explainable. At least to me, it's supposed to be something simple that everyone can actually be able to adjust to in terms of their training routine or staying active. To be quite frank and to be realistic, even for fitness professionals, very, very busy fitness professionals, you will not see anyone in the fitness industry. Well, I won't say, and please don't quote me on this, but especially for fitness professionals who are, really making ends meet and having to train people, one client after the other. Trust me, at beginning stages as a trainer, a lot of these trainers have quotas and have to reach certain sales targets. And oftentimes they themselves are not able to stay consistent unless maybe their managers let them train in the facility they work at. If you are a fitness professional who is tied up with a certain gym, if you don't really have your own personal training business within your own resources, let's say, it is actually something that many fitness trainers get to unfortunately experience, not being able to stay consistent with their own training routines. All right, so that's certainly a fact. I am not lying. And if you guys feel that the fitness industry has become better, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that in itself is my own experience as a trainer. Consistency, again, in terms of my example. All right, if you are a fitness trainer who trains many clients, one on top of the other, your consistency sometimes, instead of you wanting to take care of yourself day in, day out on a daily, the same as your clientele, most likely that'll drop to at most 3 times a week. You're lucky enough to target a 3 times a week type of training program. And to me, everyone, 3 times a week is, at par with a lot of us who who are used to many training programs, people recommend you to do a 3 day a week type of training program. That's well and good. That is a great thing to be able to accomplish if you have the time for it. Now, going back to the example that I said, if I did have a client who told me that they only had 1 day to work with me, I will accept that and make sure that the time they get to spend with me is maximized. So guys, that is also part of the consistency. It's not just the amount of time that you get to spend. It doesn't even need to be a full on, I want to do an hour and a half of training. It's not. Times have changed. Many things in the fitness industry have been proven to be wrong, etc. I will not go and dive deep into that in this episode, but programming in itself, if a program is made for you and personalized for you, you can still come out strong after a 1 time a week type of frequency in your own training routine. If your trainer cares much about the number of times that you come in and it's only a day in a week, your trainer, if they do care, they will make it a point to maximize the amount of time that you get to train with them. And again, as well, guys, if you are also training on your own, and let's say that is the only time in your schedule that you can commit to when it comes to your training routine, make sure to maximize the time that you have. Let's say you have 30 minutes once in a week. In that 30 minutes, make sure that you get to train at most all of your body parts, all of your muscles. A whole body workout is always best when you have very, very limited time and very, very limited frequency of training in a week, in a couple of weeks, in a month. Okay, so that to me in itself, consistency doesn't always equate to, again, training every single day. You can commit to a once a week training as long as you stick with that and stay doing that every single week for the next couple of months, the next few months, half a year. That is something that will still contribute to your health and fitness becoming better than it was when you did nothing at all, right? And again, as I mentioned, consistency doesn't, it's not just specific to the number of days that you come in and train. It is also, I believe, as a trainer, when you become consistent, it also has to be in terms of your programming, all right? If you do train every single day this week, and then you suddenly switch to a different type of training program next week, that's a little iffy for me, okay? If you are working with a trainer and they immediately just switch you up to a totally different type of training program after 1 week of working with them, and then let's say you do weights this week and then next week you just do a ton of running on the treadmill, that is a very big red flag, people. All right, unless that is something that you requested for. But just to tell you frankly, if you stick with a certain program with a trainer, oftentimes they will lay out your program for you at least, on a month schedule. All right, maybe there are some who do it per week, but there is a progression from when you began until you end your programs with your coach. All right. So consistency has to be also the type of program or the kind of training routine that is provided for you guys. All right. So don't be little fickle minded and you feel like you can do weight training this week and do a ton of cardio next week and then do maybe yoga and Pilates the week after that. And staying very active is a goal, but your consistency to hit what it is that you want to change in yourself may not be it may not be something that you get to target when you switch from one training program to the next. I hope that that is something that you guys can actually get to understand a little bit more. I know the examples aren't really at par with what I'm supposed to be explaining here, but ladies and gents, if you get through or want to go through a training routine, be sure to stick with the type of training regimen that you are using. All right, that in and of itself, I believe, is a better explanation here. But yes, it isn't just the number of days that you train. All right, staying consistent also to the type of programming because our bodies do adapt. Okay. There's a certain level of adaptation our body goes through when we go through a fitness program. All right. Maybe if you have become very accustomed to the training routine that you go through, let's say you're in a weight training program specific to your needs, and you feel that you have been very well adapted to it, then you could probably go and find a different type of training protocol. All right. Oftentimes, when you go through a brand new training routine, it takes around a month for your body to really adjust very well. But of course, that is just an example. It is still very different for particular people. Some people manage to maybe adapt well in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, but still it's within that time frame. All right. So I don't expect any of my clients to easily adapt to my training routine after a week. That would be a miracle of sorts. But maybe based on my experience, I haven't had any particular client that I worked with who adapted to the program after a week. All right. It's often, quite very often, after a month's work that they really get to adjust to the training routine. So again, you have to stay consistent, not just on the number of days that you come in, it's also staying consistent with your training routine and not just easily brushing off your other or previous routine just because you feel that your goal was not reached. All right. I know there are certain frustrations with people who think that after a week of doing a training routine, they feel very hopeless already or at once. And they tell themselves, oh, I didn't see the changes that I wanted after a week. Ladies and gents, one week is a little too short to see changes, immediate changes that you want. All right, we gotta be a lot more aware that change is never really instant, okay? It doesn't come in after 24 hours. It doesn't come in after a snap of a finger of your coach. We all wish that were. If that happened, all of us would be out of a job. But yes. And don't be scared of having to switch around with how consistent you are. You can be maybe consistent this week and go in the gym for 4 days, and then next week drops down to 2 days. That's fine. Again, something is better than nothing at all or giving it up and throwing in the towel. All right. Make sure to show up as much as you can. And that is what we want, what I want for you guys to remember in today's episode. Just show up, guys. Be sure to give that effort. All right. Give as much effort as you can for your own well being, for your own health and fitness. And, just starting off your day and telling yourself that today I will be much better than I was yesterday. All right. So that is our episode today. Ladies and gents, fam, thank you so much for joining me again. All the episodes that we have are on the channel. So if you guys have other topics that you would like me to discuss, let me know in the comments. Just leave your comments below. If you just want to say hi, hello, leave those in the comments as well. I do appreciate all of that, and I try my best to respond to each and every one. So again, guys, this is it for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining me today. Coach RKaye here, signing off. I'll see you guys again next week. But of course, always reminding you to never give up on your movement journey, because it's never too late to move. Bye, guys.